Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you don't know me, my name is Nandi. If you do know me, welcome back to another video. In today's video, we are going to be talking about the pros and the cons of pediatrics. So before we get into the video, you already know what to do. Please subscribe to the channel. Subscribe. Okay, and now that we are all subscribed, let's go ahead and get into this video. Okay, so I have my list because I'm me. Let's start out with the pros. We're gonna start off on a positive, cutesy note, okay? So the first pro that I have is that you get to watch your patient grow over time. I feel like if you are a pediatrician or a pediatric NP, that is such a beautiful feeling, you know what I mean? Like to literally see a baby, a little tiny baby grow over time. Just imagine, and to know that you watched all of that, you literally prepared this little human for real life, you know, you kept them well. I just think it's such a beautiful feeling. Number two, this is also one of the main reasons why I chose pediatrics, because I feel like as a pediatric NP, you have an impact on the future in a sense. You know what I mean? Like literally babies become adults. So in my head, how I see it, I'm just like, wow, like, you know, that little baby turned adult can be the next president of the United States. You never know. Like, I just feel like you have such an impact on society in the future as a pediatric NP. Number three, the third pro that I have is that kids are hilarious and they are cute. They are hilarious. The things that they do, the things that they say, you can always bet, like every single shift, like somebody's gonna do something that's gonna make you giggle. Like, you know, you have a long, tiring shift and then it's just that little thing that just makes you giggle and laugh. Trust me, it gets you through your shift sometimes. The fourth pro that I have on here, when dealing with children in pediatrics, parents can be extremely helpful. Like parents know their kids, okay? So as much as, you know, parents kind of get that rep for being like the second patient in terms of pediatrics, they also know their child. Like they know certain symptoms that their child may experience when they're sick. And they'll literally tell you like, oh, last time such and such happened, the kid had strep. And you're like, okay, cool. Like do your exam, run the strep test. And a lot of times they are correct. So definitely listen to them. The fifth pro that I have on here is during your physical exam, it is very, very clear when a child is ill. But the one thing I can say about pediatrics, children definitely bounce back well. Like you know for sure when they are sick, because when they're not wanting to play or anything like that, like children are very resilient, you know. And even when they're older and faking it, you also know, okay? So children bounce back well, and it's just an amazing thing to see. Like literally you see them probably beginning of the week and they're extremely ill, then in a few days you see them back for their checkup or something, and it's like nothing ever happened. So it's crazy, but it's definitely a pro to be able to see that. Let's go into the cons of pediatrics. So the first con that I have on here, a lot of people say, which I mentioned before, is you have two patients with pediatrics. That's sort of the saying. Everybody knows that. You have the parent and you have the child. And of course, sometimes, I don't want to say all the time, but sometimes it can be difficult dealing with parents, especially when their child is ill, they're very upset. Of course, you want them to be better as a provider, but parents, of course, want their child to be better like tomorrow, okay? The second con that I have on here, exams or your physical exams and doing testing on children can be a challenge. Okay, it can be a challenge. It may be some fighting going on. The kids, they will fight back. They will fight you. I mentioned that before. They will fight you, okay? Your physical exams can be challenging because they're little, you know, so sometimes they're scared of the littlest things, like you looking into their ear or something. So just keep that in mind with dealing with pediatrics. The third con that I have on here is communication issues. This is something that I feel like people don't talk about enough, because children cannot truly really explain their symptoms in the way that an adult can. So a lot of times, like for example, I've seen kids that come in, they'll be like, oh, my neck hurts, my neck. And it's not that they fell and they tripped or something and they hurt their neck. They may be saying they have a sore throat, but a lot of kids will be like, oh, my neck hurts, you know? So you have to sort of be able to read between the lines with children. But then once again, that is why your physical exam is so important with them also. The next con that I have on here is that kids are still learning their manners, okay? So, you know, I don't want to say it's rare. Like a lot of kids, especially if their parents are teaching them those manners, a lot of kids will, you know, they'll try to say thank you, but during exams and things like that, and they are probably going to cough on you, sneeze on you. These kids, I'm telling you, that's why I always, in my vlogs, you always see me wearing a mask, because it's not always intentional, but they don't know, like, you need to be covering your mouth. Like, you know, a lot of times, like, they'll do it and then their parents will be like, now you know you should have covered your mouth. You know what I'm saying? But wear those masks. I don't care what nobody say. And then the last con that I have on here, I feel like with pediatrics, which also isn't talked about enough, it can be really tough to deal with those hard situations that may be difficult to digest. So examples, any type of form of abuse or neglect or anything like that, I think it can be difficult to deal with those things with adults, but to see those things with children, that's like a whole different level in my opinion. And those days where I witnessed those things happening, it definitely took a toll on me. It took a toll on me emotionally. And obviously, as somebody that works with kids or became a pediatric NP, you know, you want your little babies to always be well. You're looking out for their best interests also. So it can be hard. It can be hard to see those things when they do occur. So that is pretty much the end of this video. I went over my top 5 pros and my top 5 cons of being a pediatric NP. Of course, as always, if you guys have any questions for me, leave them down below. You can also always DM me, and a lot of you do on Instagram. If you have additional questions or comments for me, feel free to do that. I'll put my Instagram on the screen once again. But I hope that you learned something from this video and, you know, took away those gems. I always try to give you guys just a little something, a little something. But thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.